Remember that isotonic solutions are solutions whose osmotic pressure equals that of the body fluids, such as your blood serum and lacrimal fluid. Now uh, we can use the freezing point, okay, to determine the isotonicity of a certain solution, okay, because we also know that the freezing point of both blood serum and lacrimal fluid is generally accepted as negative 0.52 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now remember that this particular ratio is very important. Okay. So this ratio states that when 1 gram molecular weight of any non-electrolyte or electrolyte um, is dissolved in 1,000 grams of water, the freezing point is about negative 1.86 times I. Okay, I being the degree of dissociation of your electrolytes. Okay, for non-electrolytes, because they do not have appreciable dissociation, the I value is equal to 1. Okay, that's why the basic formula is looks like this. Okay, and so negative 1.86 degrees Celsius times I being 1, divided by negative 0.52 degrees Celsius, okay, we cancel the negative sign, equals gram molecular weight of the substance divided by the weight of the substance that will make the solution isotonic. Now, take note that both the numerator and the denominator here, okay, are the quantities of the solute per 1,000 grams or 1 kilogram of the solvent. Okay? So meaning to say, a molal, okay, a molal solution of any substance has a freezing point that is negative 1.86 degrees Celsius times I being again the dissociation factor or the dissociation value, which is also known as the Van Hoff factor, okay, which we already discussed last time, okay? And so actually, I forgot already what we were able to calculate last time. So I'll just begin from the very beginning, okay? Ayan, so um, we have this particular problem, okay? A solution of anhydrous dextrose, 180 grams per mole is its molecular weight. And it contains 25 grams of the solute in 500 milliliters of water. Calculate the freezing point of the solution. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do here is to make assumptions. Okay, we will first assume, okay, that in preparing the solution, um, the volume of the solvent that we will use will not will be okay. In this particular case, it's really 500 milliliters. So the volume of the solvent that we are going to use is 500 milliliters. Now remember that that the density of water is 1 gram per ml. So we can multiply it by the density or the specific gravity of water, which is equal to 1. So the quantity of the solvent that is used in preparing the solution is 500 grams. Okay, so this is equivalent to 2.5 kilogram. Okay. Now remember the formula, okay, that was given to you. 1.86 degrees Celsius divided by 0.52 degrees Celsius is equal to the gram molecular weight of the substance divided by the quantity or the weight of the substance per 1,000 kilogram of the 1,000 gram of the solvent that will make the solution isotonic. Okay. Now we know that the molecular weight is 180 grams per mole. So its gram molecular weight um, is 180 grams. The weight of the quantity, the weight of the solute or the quantity of the solute that will be present in 1 kilogram of the in 1 kilogram of the solvent will therefore be twice of this amount. Okay, so it will be 50 grams. So both will be in 1 kilogram or 1,000 grams. Okay, so hold on. So what is being asked, okay, is the freezing point. Okay, so remember the weight here is the weight per 1 kilogram of the solvent that will make the solution isotonic or having a freezing point that is 0.52 degrees Celsius. Okay? And so because we are looking for the freezing point of a solution, okay, containing 25 grams of dextrose in 500 milliliters of water or 50 grams of dextrose in 1 kilogram of water, which is the solvent, we will compute for the freezing point given this formula. Okay? And so the freezing point, the TF, okay, of the solution that we have will therefore be equal to this. Okay? And so we simply transfer this here, divided by here. And so that will be equal to 1.86 times 50 divided by 180. So that's equivalent to 0.52 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now, from this particular problem, we can see that a solution that contains 50 grams in 1 kilogram of water would have a freezing point depression. This time, this is depression kasi hindi ko nilagyan pa ng negative sign. So, this is the freezing point. The freezing point depression, TF, okay, is 0.52 degrees Celsius. Okay? That is equivalent to that of an isotonic solution. So we can say that a solution of dextrose that is 50 grams of dextrose in 1,000 grams of the solvent is considered as isotonic. Okay. Now this is where we will make our assumption. Okay. Now if we will be assuming that the volume of the solvent will be the same as the volume of the solution, therefore this particular solution will have a concentration that is equivalent to 50 grams divided by 1,000 milliliters of the solution. Okay, and so we can compute for its percentage equivalent. Okay, and so 50 divided by 1,000 times 100, this should be equal to 5%. So it means that a dextrose 5% in water is actually an isotonic solution. Okay? And so how about this one? And so the freezing point of a 5% solution of boric acid with a molecular weight that is 61.83 grams per mole is negative 1.55 degrees Celsius. How many grams of boric acid should be used in preparing 1,000 ml of an isotonic solution? Okay? And so in this particular problem, we are given the um, percentage of the boric acid. Excuse me. So we have 5% boric acid. So remember that a 5% boric acid means you have 5 grams of boric acid, 5 grams of boric acid, and it's in 100 milliliters of the solution. Okay, so that will be our 5% boric acid. Okay, so remember that to use our formula, okay, to be able to use our formula, we need to make sure, okay, that our solution is always in 1,000 grams or 1 kilogram of the solvent. Okay, and so we will just convert this to 50 grams of boric acid, and this will be 1,000 ml of solution. Now we will assume here that the final volume of the solution is the same as the volume of the solvent. Okay, in the meantime. Okay, and your boric acid will not affect the volume of the solution. So we can assume that we have 50 grams of boric acid in a kilogram of the solvent. Okay? And according to this particular problem, it has a freezing point that is negative 1.55 degrees Celsius. We would like to know the amount of boric acid that will make an isotonic solution, or meaning to say a solution with a freezing point that is negative 0.52 degrees Celsius. Okay, so we'll just look for x, for the value of x. So we transfer this here, we transfer this here, and over this here. So the x will be equal to 16.8 grams of boric acid. Yan. So 16.8 grams of boric acid in 1 kilogram or 1,000 grams of the solvent, which is water, will make an isotonic solution. However, we are assuming that the volume of the solvent is the same as the volume of the solution. So this will be our final answer. Okay, so there will be 16.8 grams of boric acid in 1,000 milliliters of the isotonic solution. Okay, so you have already seen this equation. So this equation is for your electrolytes. Okay, so remember that it's basically the same formula. In fact, this is the more generic formula because we have the inclusion of the I. Okay, so remember that with electrolytes, the greater the dissociation, the smaller will be the quantity that is required to produce any given osmotic pressure, and that is because your electrolytes dissociate into particles or ions which would contribute to the tonicity of the solution. Okay, and that's why we multiply this by I. Okay, over here. Okay, and so we can just move this, no, and to compute for the weight of the solute per 1,000 grams of the water. So we'll have this formula, but I don't normally remember. I don't usually, memorize formulas, so I'll just focus on this one. Okay, so you will see this many times in this particular module. And I think I have already shown to you before, how we actually arrive at this formula, no? Ayan, it's actually a ratio and proportion lang naman. Okay, so remember that for typical electrolytes having a dissociation a percentage dissociation of 80%, okay, we have the following values of I, or dissociation values, or dissociation constants. These are also known as Van Hoff factor. So later on in your physical pharmacy class, you will discuss this. No, this is your Van Hoff factor. Okay. Now, I have mentioned last time, no? I recall that I have mentioned last time how we actually determine the I value or any given percentage dissociation. Okay, so my example was sodium chloride, if you still remember it. So sodium chloride in solution will dissociate into two ions. You have your sodium ion and chloride ion. Now, if, for example, our sodium chloride only dissociates by as much as 80%, then 20% of it will remain undissociated. Okay? So this is the undissociated sodium chloride. Ayan. Now, for every 100 particles of sodium chloride, we will have 20 particles of undissociated sodium chloride. Okay? Now, sodium, okay, will be 80 particles because we have 80% dissociation. So out of 100, we have 80 particles of sodium. And because we have 1 is to 1 mole ratio between sodium ions and chloride ions, then the chloride ions will also be 80 particles. Okay? So the total number of particles will therefore be 80 plus 80 plus 20. And so 80 plus 80 plus 20 divided by the original number of particles in your solute. Okay? Yan. So 80 plus 80 plus 20, this is equal to 180 particles divided by 100. That's how we got the I value that is equal to 1.8. Okay? Yeah, so you can now compute for the I value of any substance given its dissociation degree of dissociation or percentage degree dissociation, like this one. Okay? Yeah, so for more problems, for more examples involving the dissociation constant, let's move on to the next slide. Ayan. So let's suppose that you have zinc chloride, which is a 3-ion electrolyte, dissociating 80% in a certain concentration. Calculate its dissociation factor, that is the value of I. Okay? So zinc chloride has this formula, ZnCl2. Okay? Don't worry, you will not have to memorize formulas of chemicals. Okay? I will be providing you with the chemical formula, and I will also be mentioning how many ions they will dissociate into. Okay? Yan, because I understand that not all of you has a good background in chemistry, in general chemistry or in organic chemistry. So because this subject is not essentially chemistry, and I will be giving you the formulas of your chemical compounds. Okay, and so going back, zinc chloride is a 3-ion electrolyte. So your zinc chloride dissociates into zinc ions and two chloride ions. Okay? Yeah, so one zinc ion and two chloride ions. And the others will be undissociated zinc chloride. Now, for a 100 particle zinc chloride solution, um, 20 particles will be undissociated and 80 particles will be zinc. And because we have 1 is to 2 ratio between zinc and chloride ions, then this will be 80 plus 80. Right? So the total value or the total number of particles in your solution will be 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 20 divided by 100. So this is 8, 16, 24, 260 divided by 100. So the I value is equal to 2.6. Okay? That's how you actually derive the value of I, okay, in this particular table. Okay? I think I already mentioned in this class that there is actually a pattern here. Okay. For electrolytes having a degree of dissociation that is 80%, just remember this. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Then this one decreases by 2. 8, 6, 4, and 2. Okay. So for a 2-ion electrolyte, the I is 1.8. For a 3-ion electrolyte, it's 2.6. For a 4-ion electrolyte, it's 3.4. And for a 5-ion electrolyte, it will be 4.2. Now, just like before, for non-electrolytes or substances with very slight dissociation, such as your boric acid, the I value will be equal to 1. Now, some examples of non-electrolytes, just in case you were not able to take note of them last time, are the following. So you have urea, dextrose, or any other sugars. Okay, or any other sugars. Okay, so these are our examples of non-electrolytes. You can also include here most organic compounds, organic substances, which are not ionized. Okay, so organic substances which are not ionized are also considered as non-electrolytes. As long as they are undissociated at a particular pH value, then they are non-electrolytes. Okay, so let's have another example. So zinc sulfate is a two-ion electrolyte dissociating 40% at a certain concentration. This calculate its dissociation factor. So zinc sulfate dissociates into and zinc ions and sulfate ions. Okay. Now, because its dissociation degree is only 40%, we have undissociated zinc sulfate. Okay. Now, for every 100 particles of zinc sulfate, 40 particles will be zinc and another 40 particles will be sulfate. Okay. And then the rest, 60, will be undissociated. So the I value is equal to 40 plus 40 plus 60 divided by 100. So this will be equal to 140 divided by 100. So this is equal to 1.4. Okay. So always remember this formula, okay? Wherein we actually have a ratio and proportion between gram molecular weight, okay, of any substance and its freezing point depression, okay, which is 1.86 degrees Celsius times I, okay? Remember that for any substance, whether it be electrolyte or non-electrolyte, um, this particular solute will reduce the freezing point of water by as much as 1.86 degrees Celsius times I. I being the dissociation value or uh, the dissociation value or the dissociation factor, okay, or the Van Hoff factor, okay. Now, if we would like to determine, the freeze, the weight of a substance, okay, the weight of a substance that will be isotonic with your bodily fluid, then we are supposed to make sure that its freezing point depression will be similar to that of the body fluids. Okay, so remember that freezing point depression is a colligative property. Okay, it only depends on the number of particles in a particular solution, not necessarily on the nature or not necessarily on the physical-chemical properties of the substance. Okay, yeah. So for what I am saying here is that even though the colligative properties depend on the nature of the solute, mean either electrolyte or non-electrolyte. Okay, the colligative properties will not differentiate. Okay, will not differentiate the particles as to their chemical property. Okay, yeah. So for example, if you would like to reduce, if you have a particular solution, okay, containing sodium chloride, okay, and another solution containing potassium chloride, okay, so these are different salts, okay, they could have the same colligative properties for as long as the number of particles that are present in the solution are the same, okay, and so that's why colligative properties are very important, okay, so for you to be able to determine the amount of a particular solute to make an isotonic solution, you are going to just perform ratio and proportion. Now, remember that one quantity of any substance should, in theory, have a constant tonic effect if dissolved in 1,000 grams of water. That is 1 gram molecular weight of the substance divided by its dissociation value. Okay? Now, another thing that is important here is this, no? And there is actually a formula which I forgot to mention to you last time, which you will also tackle later on in your physical pharmacy. So this is your yeah. So this is the formula for freezing point depression. Okay. And this is what you call the cryoscopic constant. Yeah. So M stands for the molality of the solution. Okay. So what do you remember about molality? Okay. So molality is equal to the number of moles of the solute per kilogram of the solvent. Okay. And so the number of moles of the solute can be taken as the weight of the substance divided by its molecular weight. Okay. Divided by the kilogram of the solvent. So that is your molality. Okay. Now, does this look familiar? Okay. So the cryoscopic constant for water is actually 1.86 degrees Celsius. Okay. Yeah. So it's degrees Celsius, um, degrees Celsius per molal. Okay. Yeah. So this one, okay, that value, okay, negative 1.86, that is the freezing point of any molal solution of any substance. Okay, so basically that is what it means. Okay, if we have any substance, okay, given its molality, let's say 1 molal solution of whatever substance, okay, knowing the I value, we simply multiply the I value by the cryoscopic constant to get the freezing point depression of that particular substance or the freezing point of the substance pwede ring makuha, no? Ayan. So, or the solution. Usually, the solution is in water. Okay? Ayan. So, moving on, um, remember that quantities of two substances that are tonicic equivalents are proportional to the molecular weights of each multiplied by the I value of the other. Okay? So ano yung ibig sabihin nito? Okay? Yeah, so we go back to this. Okay? Ayan. So, yeah, so we go back to this formula. Okay? So remember that you can actually determine, okay, the gram molecular weight of you can actually determine the grams of sodium chloride, okay, to make a solution isotonic by using the gram molecular weight, okay, of sodium chloride. Okay. Now, suppose you have another substance. Okay, suppose you have a different substance. Okay, can we actually get the tonicic equivalent of that particular substance? Okay, so this is what we are going to do. And so let me just remove all of this. Excuse me. So, um, by just manipulating this particular formula, okay, I will just move this here and I will keep this intact. So this will be 1.86 degrees Celsius divided by 0.52 degrees Celsius, okay, equals the gram molecular weight or the molecular weight of a substance. Let's say that substance is sodium chloride, okay. Um, I will divide it by its I value, okay? And also, I will multiply the denominator by its weight. Okay, so I will multiply this by the weight of sodium chloride. Okay, let's suppose I have another substance. Okay, so let's just name that substance X. Okay, and so that substance X will also use this particular formula. Okay, and so I can also determine the amount of the substance X. Okay, the amount of the substance X given the molecular weight of the substance X, okay? And the I value of that substance X by using this proportionality, okay? And so for any substance, okay, for any substance, remember that this proportionality is actually true, okay? And so and also remember this formula that I gave you before, change in TF equals KF times I times M. Okay? Pero pag hindi niya masyado nakikita yan, ito na lang. Okay? Yan, kasi basically this one is the inverse. Ayan. This one is actually the inverse of molality, weight over molecular weight. Okay? Yan. So, uh, weight over molecular weight, and remember that this is always in a kilogram of the solution. Okay? Yan. So pag hindi masyado makita, don't mind. Ito na lang yung i-focus natin. For any substance, we can determine the quantity of that substance X that will make the solution isotonic, 0.52 degrees Celsius. Okay? Provided that we know the molecular weight of that substance, molecular weight of X, and the I value of that other substance, IX. Okay? Now I will again move this here. Okay? So I have 1.86 degrees Celsius divided by 0.52 degrees Celsius equals molecular weight of any substance X divided by the I of that substance X times the weight of that substance X. Okay? Now, notice that this is a constant. Okay? Constant, constant. Okay? So any number divided by any number is also a constant. Okay? So any constant divided by another constant is a constant. And so these two are constants. So we can say that this and this are equal. So molecular weight of sodium chloride divided by I of sodium chloride times weight of sodium chloride equals molecular weight of any substance X. The IX, the I of whatever substance times the quantity of that substance. Okay. Now, if we would like to determine, okay, if we would like to determine the weight of sodium chloride equivalent to the weight of the substance, okay, we will just actually transfer this over here. Okay? Yeah, so ililipat lang natin siya dyan. So this will be weight of the sodium chloride. And this will be equal to, ayan. And then this one, ibababa natin doon sa ibaba. Okay? Molecular weight of sodium chloride is 58.5. the I value of sodium chloride is 1.8. Ayan. Ito mapupunta sa ibaba times the molecular weight of any substance. And this one will be the I of the substance. Okay, I of the substance, IX. Yeah. So what I am saying here is that the amount of sodium chloride that is equivalent to any amount of any substance X, okay, is equal to molecular weight of sodium chloride divided by its I value times the I value of that substance divided by the molecular weight of that substance. Okay, so this is what is called the Tonesic equivalent. That is the value of E. Okay? Yan. So doon nakuha itong formula na ito. Okay? Yan. So just remember that particular formula which will be useful later on. Okay. Yan. So let's have an example to illustrate how we use the E value. What is the sodium chloride equivalent of boric acid, which is a weakly dissociated substance with a molecular weight of 61.8? And so E, or the sodium chloride equivalent of boric acid, is equal to 58.5 divided by 1.8 times molecular weight of I of the substance 1 divided by the molecular weight of the substance 61.8. Okay? Now, just a clue. And we can include the units here. Okay. So 58.5, this is actually grams of sodium chloride per mole of sodium chloride. Okay. Ayan. So what I am saying here is that the grams of sodium chloride is at the top. Okay. It's in the numerator. Okay. Divided by 1.8 particles and times 1 divided by 61.8. This is also in grams of boric acid per mole of boric acid. Okay? Ayan. So now, remember na nasa denominator yung grams of boric acid. So meaning to say, E value is actually the number of grams of sodium chloride equivalent to a gram of the boric acid. Okay? So let's compute for this one. So 58.5 divided by 1.8 divided by 61.8 is equal to 0.53. So the Tonesic equivalent E really does not have any unit, but we can just say that this is grams of sodium chloride per gram of boric acid. Okay? How about this one? Calculate the sodium chloride equivalent for glycerin, which is a non-electrolyte with a molecular weight of 92. So E is equal to 58.5 divided by 1.8 times 1 divided by 92. So this will be 58.5 divided by 1.8 divided by 92. So this will be equal to 0.35. Okay? And so how about this one? Procaine hydrochloride with a molecular weight 273 is a two-ion electrolyte dissociating 80% in a certain concentration. Calculate its dissociation factor. So the I is equal to 80 plus 80. These are the two ions which are produced by procaine hydrochloride. Yung cationic form of procaine, okay? And chloride, yun yung dalawang ions na na-produce niya, plus 20, which is the undissociated form of procaine hydrochloride, divided by 100. So this will be equal to 1.8. Okay. Now calculate the sodium chloride equivalent of procaine hydrochloride. We again use the formula 58.5 divided by 1.8 times 1.8. This one divided by 273. And so we have 58.5 divided by 273. And that's equal to 0.214. Okay. Again, the E value or the Tonesic equivalent does not have any unit, but we can just say that this is grams of sodium chloride per gram of um, procaine hydrochloride. Next is calculate the freezing point of a molar solution of procaine hydrochloride. Okay. Now remember that the freezing point depression TF is equal to KF times I times M. Okay. Yeah, so actually dito pa lang, you can already compute for the freezing point of the substance. Okay. So the freezing point depression is equal to 1.86 degrees Celsius per molal. Yan, times the I value, which is 1.8 times 1. Okay. Yan, so this is 1 molal. And so this will be 1.86 times 1.8. And that will be equal to um, 3.35 degrees Celsius. Now, take note that this is freezing point depression. Okay. So the freezing point of procaine hydrochloride is equal to negative 3.35 degrees Celsius. But there is another way. Okay. If we are going to use the formula that I have already presented to you, okay, before, and so we can say that 1 molar solution is basically 1 mole of procaine hydrochloride per kilogram of the solvent. Okay? So all we need to do is to convert 1 mole to grams. Okay? And so what will be its equivalent value of in grams? Okay? So we will simply multiply multiply dun sa 1 mole yung grams per mole of pure procaine hydrochloride. Okay? So 1 molal actually contains yan, 273 grams of procaine hydrochloride per kilogram of the solvent. Okay? So does this sound familiar? Okay? So remember our basic formula, negative 1.86 degrees Celsius. So I will be using freezing point already here times NEI is equal to the gram molecular weight of the substance. Okay? And we divide this, okay, by 0.52 degrees Celsius negative divided by the weight. Okay? Ayan. Now, what is being mentioned by this formula is that the weight of a substance with any gram molecular weight, that is this one, okay, can be determined by using the ratio between 1.86 degrees Celsius times I and 0.52 degrees Celsius. Okay, 0.52 being the freezing point of an isotonic solution. Okay? Now we can actually replace this with whatever freezing point that we want. Okay? And so for example, you have a molal solution of a substance, then we can say that the weight and I actually don't know if you are still with me, but I really don't care. No, ayan. Um, so we will just say that the weight of the substance is um, 273 grams. Okay, yeah, so we have 1 molar solution. Okay, so the weight in a kilogram of the solvent is 273 grams. Okay, wala sumasagot eh, bahala kayo. Ayan. So we can actually determine the freezing point of a molar solution from this formula. So this will be the PF, and this the gram molecular weight of our procaine hydrochloride is actually the same, 273. Okay, and then the I is determined as 1.8. So this will simply cancel out. So the freezing point is equal to negative 1.86 um, degrees Celsius times 1.8.